Why is it so important that we bring an issue like the role of higher ed here at South by Southwest EDU? Why is this kind of issue?
Because the model of higher education is changing in a lot of instances. We've got a lousy economy, and we have to figure out a way to make the same degree or better as affordable and transparent as possible for students. And so what we asked our system presidents to do, along with their community college partners, is to go in and see what can you do to produce a degree that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, to keep a student from going into tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and all of those kinds of things. And I think most of the people on the panel were a little skeptical, including the folks at the coordinating board, but as they got into it, they started working with community colleges, they started working with high schools, they found that there was an awful lot of things to do. I mean, for instance, one of the things that we're talking about, you get somebody that comes from Afghanistan, and they've been working computers, sending Patriot missiles into the air or whatever. We put them in a computer science 101 course, and they could be teaching that course. And so you kind of they're looking at that and saying, why are you doing that? Test them out of that, go to the next course, and start teaching them things that they know instead of charging them, an arm and leg for things that they could be teaching, which unfortunately happens. And so it's a real out-of-the-box way of looking at it, and we asked our presidents and our faculty to look at it, and they responded, and are responding all the way across the Indian system.
Wow. So we have, this sounds really exciting, developing a low-cost degree. Do you think there's going to be an issue with employers looking at potential candidates that they have the 10K degree and then the 20K degree from Rice or something like that? So do you think that there's going to be a differentiation when they're looking at candidates? How are we all going to prepare for that?
We wouldn't do it if the degree was less than any at all. That's why we're going course by course and things like that. And first of all, the employer's not going to know whether it costs them $10,000 or it costs them $50,000 to get 3 or 4 years of college. And we're going to make sure that, none of this we would be doing unless we thought we were producing as good as or better degree that we had before. We intend for the knowledge base and employers to be just as happy with this person as they were with somebody that paid 5 or 6 times that to get out of college. So that is not where we would go. If we thought it was diminishing that degree, whether it's an online course or anything else, we wouldn't do it.
That's a great point. It's such a testing-intensive environment. We're all about the tax and the stars. I remember I took the TAS test back in the day, years ago, the TAS test. Oh my gosh. We're so testing-oriented. How does being competency-based, how do you shift to that? Is there a shift? How do you do that?
Well, I think that's where the role of faculty comes in. The faculty knows whether somebody's qualified to go to another. Most faculty members will tell you, we don't have to test somebody to know whether they know what's supposed to be taught in a computer course or a biosciences course or a business course. They know from asking questions. They give the test in the classroom, but we're not talking about a broad-based, huge new test or anything like that. The people who know whether somebody ought to have a degree are the faculty that are teaching the courses. And that's the simplest measure and should be the standard measure of whether somebody passes a course and ultimately gets a degree. It's the faculty.
Right. So you're talking about better trained faculty then, better trained teachers.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping all teachers get as good as they are in the Indian system.